I think if I hear you call me Becky one more time, six-pack, I'm gonna pop your tops. All six of them.
Who are you?
Hey, this is Matt once again. Welcome back to another review, and this is a request from Daryl. Thank you so much. And it's for a film called Alpha Dog from 2006. Now, for those interested in requesting any type of reviews, re-reviews of movies or something else, topics, reactions, pretty much any type of video, you can request it, either send it directly to my PayPal or join my Patreon. Both links are down below in the info box. Now, Alpha Dog is a film that I heard about, might have seen bits and pieces, but never saw it all the way through. As directed by Nick Cassavetes. Nick Cassavetes, he's an actor. He's been in stuff like Face Off, and he's directed quite a few. Well, not a whole lot of films. He's directed a couple, but this is based on a true story where, was it David Markowitz? I forget the actual name of the real person, but within the movie, it's this kind of weird thing I'm not sure about at the very beginning, the very end, where they do this like actual interview where they interview Bruce Willis's character, and well, your son, was he selling weed? Did you have ties to the mob? Was he tied to you? Are you tied to organized crime? The fact that it was a bit weird, they only do it at the very beginning and the very end of the film. And like at the very end, they interview there are a couple other people. I guess it took me not off kilter, but I thought when they introduced that was something that was going to be brought back throughout the film. Like it'd be interstitched with the narrative, but no, at the very beginning and the very end. I'm like, oh, okay, I guess they just wanted a way to bookend the movie. Now, the cast includes Emile Hirsch, who was in films like Speed Racer, among others. Bruce Willis, who plays his dad. Ben Foster from Pandorum, which is a good one. Anton Yelchin, may he rest in peace. Young Anton Yelchin. Harry Dean Stanton. Justin Timberlake, Sharon Stone. I think quite a decent cast in this. I would say at the end of the day, for the most part of the cast, that's why I didn't mind the film. Because Emile Hirsch plays this guy who works with his dad. Bruce Willis is in the film for, he pops up like 4 or 5 times at most, including the very beginning and the very end of the film. So if you're looking for a lot of Bruce Willis, you're not getting that. He appears once in a while. Harry Dean Stanton, even less so, who plays a friend of Bruce Willis's character. And Emile Hirsch has this group of people. One is, I recognize the guy, he was in The Faculty. I forget his name. He's part of the group, but it's not Josh Hartnett, and it's not Elijah Wood. It's the other guy. I forget the actor's name. He's there because he owes Emile Hirsch quite a shitload of money. Like, he owes him, so because he can't pay it off, he does whatever Emile Hirsch wants him to do. Emile is very good friends with Justin Timberlake, who's actually pretty good in this, I gotta say. Justin Timberlake actually gives one of the better performances in this movie. I gotta admit on that. And then what happens one day as they do these deals and they're hanging around their place, Ben Foster's a guy who also owes money. And he comes by and says, hey, here's a little bit, I'll give you the rest later. And Ben Foster has a bit of a temper, as well as Emile Hirsch. And that's one flaw I have with the film. Emile Hirsch is the lead, or it's weird to say lead because there's a good chunk of the film where he disappears. I don't buy him as this tough guy that everyone's afraid of, and he's the leader of this group of guys, and everyone's so afraid of him, and they're, I'm not sure what he'll do next. I just don't buy him as being the big tough guy. Like, Justin Timberlake I bought a lot more than Emile Hirsch. And I would have preferred a different actor. Like, Emile Hirsch can work in certain instances. I did not think he worked in this. Again, I just did not buy him as this, when he's trying to be intimidating. I'm like, Ben Foster's going to kick the shit out of you. And in a way, the movie kind of knows that, because they did in the struggle, because Emile wants his money. Ben Foster's like, I don't have your money. They did in the struggle in a fight, and Ben Foster almost kissed the shit out of him. And then Emile pulls a gun, and everyone calms down, and then things ratchet up, where Ben Foster gets really pissed off at Emile Hirsch. That Ben Foster takes his buddies, goes to Emile Hirsch's place, and Emile Hirsch he's watching all this, but he doesn't do anything, which kind of makes me go, wow, this character's, maybe on purpose he's supposed to be this kind of big pussy, that he's not as tough as he thinks he is. But I don't know, just the actor, I just would have preferred someone else in that role, and I don't know who at the top of my head, but because Ben Foster's buddies trash the place, it even shits on the floor, which I would say you don't need that. But yeah, I don't know how much of this is true and how much is not true. That's the thing with true stories. Like, okay, it's based on a true story, but how much of it is actually the truth? I don't know. I don't know much about the source material, the real life events, I should say. Now, yeah, things ratchet up, and they're pissed off that Ben Foster did this, so they find Ben Foster's younger brother, played by Anton Yelchin, and they kidnap him. But Anton Yelchin's actually okay with it because he's not getting along the best with his family, and his mom is actually played by Sharon Stone, who's in the movie. So to him, he's like, okay, this is like a vacation away. He's fine with it. Like, hey, you don't need to tie me up. I'm not going to run. I'm cool. And as Emile Hirsch is doing his own thing, a chunk of the film is Justin Timberlake, who's told to watch him, and Anton Yelchin bonding with each other. And I actually think that was the best part of the movie, because I thought the two of them worked rather well together. Like when later on, he's like, oh, you're a tough guy, huh? He tells Anton Yelchin, he asks him, oh, you're a tough guy? Let me show me how tough you are. And Anton Yelchin's going, well, yeah, I know Taekwondo, and my brother taught me stuff. Okay, fine, show me. And he's able to keep taking Justin Timberlake down, and Justin's like, instead of getting mad, he's like, wow, that's so cool. And I really bought their bonding with each other. Again, I thought the two worked well together. And Justin Timberlake, again, I bought him in this kind of role. He fit it a lot better than I thought, because I never thought, oh, Justin Timberlake, great actor, but he worked well in the movie. Ben Foster finds out his brother's been taken. He has this scene where he just gets pissed at this I forget where it was, but he's looking for his brother, and he just beating the shit out of everybody. He punches a lady, knocks her the fuck out. He's doing like kung fu kicks. I mean, not something I see every day from Ben Foster. And I'm like, okay, is this part of the true story? I guess, but he like really beats the fuck out of these guys, out of these people. And not even the people he's looking for, but the people's like giving him shit. But at the same time, within the movie, there are times again that certain characters kind of disappear for a while. Like Emile Hirsch's character seems like he disappears for a bit, and then Ben Foster at one point it seems like he disappears for a bit. And right on one hand, I get it because you're trying to go between so many different characters, but like for example, Ben Foster, I would like to give more of a sense of him at the end of the film after everything that happened. Like what happened to this character, what went on with him afterwards, instead of just one or two lines of dialogue that Sharon Stone says. And but again, the flip side, Anton Yelchin and Justin Timberlake, they both did a good job. The Justin Timberlake, I bought him as a tough guy, but he's also a guy who he's caught in a situation that he doesn't want to be in, but he, at the flip side, doesn't have the guts to stand up for anybody. He doesn't have the guts to stand up for his beliefs, so to speak, which I'll get to that. And Anton Yelchin, he worked well as the innocent guy who didn't do anything wrong, and you know, Anton had that quality to him where you could easily feel sorry for him. That granted, the Friday Night remake didn't work out for him, but you know, I would say that's more of the script's fault than probably his. And then, you know, Justin Timberlake does give him the out a few times. You know, I could turn my back, you run away, and he goes, "Nah, I don't want to screw up things with my brother. I don't want to cause my trouble for my brother." And sort of this sinking sadness that, you know, things are not going to end well, and they don't. And while Anton's character is having the best time of his life, hanging out with these people, he gets laid. I mean, he's even in a pool with two naked chicks, which that's pretty damn lucky. And it seems like Justin Timberlake's character is giving the hints, you know, hey, you want to leave? You want to go this? But I'm like, why don't you just fucking tell them? Just tell them verbatim, get the fuck out of here because they want to kill you. But I just, again, how much is this based on real life? How much is it not? That's the weird thing about reviewing something that's based on a true story. Can you blame a film that's following a narrative that's true if it's based on that? But on the flip side, okay, well, how much of it is true and how much is not? Like, for all I know, maybe the character that Justin Timberlake plays in real life wasn't bonding with Anton Yelchin's character. I mean, who would know other than, like, when they're talking and they're talking about their dads, and who knows? Who knows for certain? Could be all full of shit for all we know. And that's the thing where I think that could lead to the trouble of basing stuff on true stories where, like, you could base it on, but, or inspire, like, you could be inspired by it, but we don't want to follow that verbatim, so we say, well, yeah, we're inspired, but we want to tell our own story as well. That seems like more of a successful venture than truly basing on a, quote, true story. But, I mean, that's just my 2 cents on that. Alpha Dot, if you're going to... It's not an action film. I don't remember if it was advertised as an action film, but it's not. Again, the cast, other than the Emile Hirsch, which I didn't care for, the others did their jobs well. Again, Bruce Willis, he has a couple scenes. Like, he's being interviewed at the beginning and the end of the film. There's a moment where Emile Hirsch talks to him during the baseball game. There's a part where Bruce Willis is hanging with Harry Dean Stanton and they're drinking. Then when Bruce Willis finds out what's going on, he tries to talk to Emile Hirsch, tells him to knock it off and call it off. Because what happens is Emile wants Anton Yelchin's character killed in case he says anything. And Anton keeps saying, no, I won't say anything, but they do it anyway. I mean, the movie itself, I guess the best way to say it is, it was interesting to watch for the cast. I don't see this as a film I would watch again, only because I don't know if I would say I don't think the story's that interesting. It's just, it's there. I think Emile Hirsch, I'm sorry I keep saying their full names because I don't remember their characters' names, honestly. I'm watching it as a time waster, enjoying Bruce Willis looking like he kind of does give a shit. Harry Dean Stanton missing the guy because he's a good character actor. May he rest in peace. Wow, there's Sharon Stone. Wow, okay. She's not bad in the film. But they're in it a little bit sporadically. And like I said, the best part of the film is Justin Timberlake and Anton Yelchin's bonding between each other. If you read a little bit about the true story, you know where it's leading to. So there's that thing of, there's not really a whole lot of suspense because you pretty much know how it's going to end. But I guess they're trying to listen to the suspense of not the destination, but the journey to get there. And I should, in all fairness, look up the actual incident. I should have done this before to get the names right. I mean, again, it was one of those films I liked. I would say it was an okay time waster. I liked it as a time waster. I would never pick it up on DVD or Blu-ray. I would never. And it's one of those films that it's hard for me to elicit the response of like, why is it that's the case? It's just, First off, I want to get to what is this based on. Kidnapping and Murder of Nicholas Markowitz in 2000. That was the name. And that's the actors. Emile Hirsch is Johnny Truelove, leader or alpha dog, inspired by Jesse James Hollywood. Justin Timberlake is Frankie, Johnny's right-hand man, best friend. Inspired by Jesse Rude. Ben Foster is Jake, inspired by Benjamin Markowitz. The guy from the faculty I was talking about was Shawn Hatosy as Elvis, the lowest member of the gang. He's in debt to the Alpha Dog, inspired by Ryan Hoyt, who is currently on death row at San Quentin. Anton Yelchin, inspired by Nicholas Markowitz. Sharon Stone, inspired by Susan Markowitz. Bruce Willis as Sonny Truelove. It's implied he has mafia connections, inspired by John Jack Hollywood. Oh yeah, that's why you have Chris Marquette, who's a friend of Justin Timberlake's character. He digs the grave for when Anton Yelchin's killed, but he's not present for the murder. Chris Marquette, he was in Freddy vs. Jason, among others. He played the nerdy guy in Freddy vs. Jason that had the crush on... I always forget her name, I can't believe it. The one who made fun of Freddy Krueger's sweater. Maybe there's a reason why. Kelly Rowland, that's what it was. You also have Dominique Swain, Olivia Wilde, who's in it a teeny bit as Emile Hirsch's girlfriend. Amanda Seyfried as Anton Yelchin's girlfriend. Again, just there were legal issues during the making of the film. Didn't do much at the box office. Made $15 million domestically, $32 million worldwide, and had a $9.5 million budget. So maybe that was enough, honestly. Anton Yelchin praised is able to bring all of the conflicting emotions of Zach and conveying it all beautifully. Yeah, I mean, especially the scene when when he dies, and he's like begging, hey, I'm not going to say anything, I promise I'm not going to say anything, I promise. And just the emotions Anton brought to his face is rather solid. Shows that he was a talented actor taken way too soon. Nick Cassavetes had done John Q, which I reviewed. I liked that one. He did The Notebook with Ryan Gosling and Rachel McAdams. Last film he did is a film called The Other Woman with Cameron Diaz. I haven't even heard of the film. Yeah, Emile Hirsch, I have to think there were other actors to do in that, but that's just me. But yeah, not a bad film. You know, I liked it for what it was. Drama, you know, true crime drama, just the best way to put it. So I apologize, it's not the best review. I didn't really know what to say other than really, whether you like it or not is how you feel about the cast and their acting. Because you're not going in for comedy or humor. You're not going in for action. You're not going in for... There's not a whole lot of romance. It's mainly how these actors work with each other. And because it's based on a true story, maybe there's no way this could have happened. But it would have been nice if you had seen at least one of like Bruce Willis and Sharon Stone working with each other, because I don't know if they've ever worked with each other. And in this, they don't share any scenes together that I remember. I would remember that. But again, if it's based on a true story, how could that work out? I understand. That's why, I don't know. Maybe if it was more of a fictionalized story, maybe certain things could be worked out. But that's one of the things when you base something on a true story, how much are you handcuffing yourself? And some people, maybe they don't care. Maybe they know it'll work out for the best. So with that said, thanks for watching. Take care. We'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.